I always knew I wasn't the favorite, but I didn't realize just how far that went until they took the one thing I had worked for all my life, my college fund, and handed it to my brother like it was pocket change. Growing up, my world was built on the promise that if I worked hard enough, I could earn my place in a world bigger than our small town life. I was the quiet one, the planner, the overachiever, while Nathan, my older brother, bounced between one impulsive dream and another, from DJing to woodworking to opening a gym. My idea of fun was solving calculus problems and applying for internships. I stayed up until 3 a.m. writing essays for scholarships and studying for AP exams while he crashed on the couch after late nights out, smelling like beer and bad choices. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. Despite this, my parents always looked at him with soft eyes and second chances. My dad once told me, "Your brother has a spark. He just needs direction." Meanwhile, I was the direction, the map, the GPS. I didn't need hand-holding. I needed opportunity. And I thought that was what my college fund was, opportunity that I had earned. The fund wasn't just a piggy bank they filled. I contributed to it too. Every birthday, every summer job, every dollar I could spare went into it. My parents said it was a team effort for my future. I believed them. Until one day, it was just gone. I came home from school one afternoon in my senior year and overheard a conversation in the kitchen. My mom's voice was low and anxious. "It's all of it," she said. "Everything she saved, everything we saved. But Nathan says it's a guaranteed investment. He just needs to get the truck and the equipment and he swears he'll pay it back." My stomach turned cold. I didn't even wait to hear more. I rushed to my room, logged into the bank portal, and saw it. The account balance was under $100. I confronted them that night, tears already welling before I opened my mouth. My dad didn't look guilty. He looked rational, like a man explaining a decision that made perfect sense to him. "Sweetheart," he began, "this was a family decision. Nathan is family. He's your brother. We believe in him. He has a plan. And you're smart. You'll figure it out. You always do." I stood there frozen. My mom tried to soften the blow. "You've always been so responsible, honey. You'll get scholarships, loans, and when Nathan's business takes off, he promised to pay everything back even more." "But it's not his money," I yelled. "It's mine. You just gave away my future for his fantasy." They didn't apologize. They said I was being selfish. I didn't speak to them for weeks. I tried. I really did. But the damage had been done. I had to defer my admission to my dream university because I couldn't afford to go. I took a year off, worked at a bookstore during the day, and cleaned offices at night just to survive. I applied for every grant and scholarship I could find. I took out student loans with interest rates that made me sick. And what was Nathan doing? He was posting selfies inside his new food truck, Burger Kingdom, with captions like "hustle culture" and "making dreams come true." Meanwhile, he was giving away free burgers to friends and blowing money on influencer ads. His launch party had a DJ, while I was eating dollar ramen noodles and watching my future get pushed further and further away. The business tanked 6 months later. Nathan blamed everything but himself: the weather, the economy, his supplier, the haters. My parents looked devastated, but not angry. "He tried," my mom said. "That's what matters." I wanted to scream. I wanted to burn the truck myself, but I didn't. I just kept going. I finally got into a smaller state school, took a part-time job on campus, and worked every break. I had no weekends, no vacations, no peace, but I made it. I graduated with honors, buried in debt, but with a fire in my chest they couldn't extinguish. I moved out, never looked back. I found a job in tech, stable, well-paying, quiet. I didn't go to family dinners. I didn't answer their calls, and they didn't chase me either. Not until 2 years later. That's when I got the text. "Hi, sweetheart. Can we talk? Your brother has a new idea. He just needs a little help." I didn't respond. Then the phone rang. My dad's voice was careful, diplomatic. "Look, I know things weren't great before, but Nathan's been working on a new concept, an app this time. He's got a team, a prototype. We're really excited, but he needs funding. And, well, we were hoping you could help out." I felt my jaw clench so hard I thought I might crack a tooth. He continued, "Just a small loan. Nothing crazy. You're doing well now, right?" It was like they had forgotten everything. Forgotten the nights I cried alone, the jobs I juggled, the sleep I lost. Forgotten that they had bet against me and lost. "I'm not your bank," I said coldly. "But it's your brother," my mom interrupted, trying to guilt me again. "And I'm your daughter," I snapped. "But that never mattered when you chose him over me." I hung up. That should have been the end. But they weren't finished yet. They came back with something else. Something that made my blood run cold. They didn't just stop at asking for a loan. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Not an email. A letter. Handwritten in my mother's flowy cursive, like some olive branch dipped in guilt and false sentiment. She wrote about how Nathan had fallen on hard times, that he was depressed after his last failure, and that a helping hand from family could be the thing that pulls him out of the darkness. At the end of the letter was a plea, my mom's quiet, manipulative specialty. "You always were the strong one. Don't let that strength turn into bitterness." Bitterness, that word echoed in my mind for days, as if my pain, my betrayal, my struggle was nothing but a bad attitude problem, as if the wounds they left weren't real unless I chose to forget them. But forgetting isn't healing, and forgiving doesn't mean funding another disaster. Still, something in me felt stuck. I couldn't shake the heaviness of that letter. Part of me was angry, furious even. But another part of me, a part I hated, still longed for their approval, for a sliver of the love I'd never gotten. And then it happened. One cold Thursday morning, I got a call from my aunt, my dad's sister, someone who had always quietly rooted for me from the sidelines. She told me something I wasn't supposed to know. "They're selling the house," she said. "Your parents are nearly bankrupt. Your brother burned through every cent they had left trying to launch some cryptocurrency thing. He lied to them, said he had investors. He didn't. Took out loans in their name. Defaulted. They're losing everything." My heart didn't leap with joy. It didn't ache with pity either. It just broke. For all of us. Even after everything, this wasn't what I wanted. I didn't want revenge. I wanted closure. I wanted peace. But it looked like life had different plans. The next weekend, I got in my car and drove 3 hours to the house I hadn't seen in years, my childhood home, the place where I once dreamed about college dorms and art internships and freedom. It looked smaller than I remembered, worn down, tired. My mom opened the door, her eyes swollen from crying. My dad stood behind her, silent. And Nathan? He wasn't even there. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one where they once told me they'd given away my college fund like it meant nothing. "I know you probably hate us," my dad said. I didn't respond. He continued, "We made mistakes. We thought we were helping him. We never thought he'd do all this." My mom reached for my hand, tentative. "We're sorry, honey. Truly. We were blind and selfish. You deserved better." I took a deep breath, letting the silence stretch long enough for them to squirm, and then I said something I never thought I would. "I'll help you." My mom gasped. My dad's eyebrows lifted with relief, but I held up a finger. "On my terms," I said. They waited. "I'm not giving Nathan a dime," I continued. "Not 1 cent. And if I help you with this mortgage, it's not a gift. It's a loan, with interest. We'll put it in writing, and you're both going to see a financial counselor. I'll pay for that, too." They nodded quickly, desperate, grateful. "And one more thing," I added. They looked at me, bracing themselves. "I don't want apologies. I want change. I want you to see me, not just the fixer, the strong one, the backup plan, but as your daughter, the one who's been here all along, quiet, capable, and ignored." My mom burst into tears. My dad said nothing, but for the first time, I saw the guilt in his eyes. Over the next few months, I helped them restructure their finances, pay off their most urgent debts, and get back on their feet. I didn't do it for them. I did it for me, to reclaim something they took long ago, my power. Nathan tried calling me once. I didn't answer. He sent a text 2 days later. Heard you're helping mom and dad. Any chance we can talk? I blocked his number. My forgiveness has limits, and so does my wallet. Years later, I stood on the stage of a conference center, giving a talk on financial independence and resilience. I told my story, not with bitterness, but with truth. I spoke for every less important sibling, every overlooked daughter, every person whose dreams were treated like spare change. After the event, a woman approached me. She looked about my age, tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she said. "Your story was mine, until now." And in that moment, I knew I hadn't just helped my parents. I had finally, fully helped myself. And this time, nobody could take that from me.